It's the AK Option Trader back at you again with the weekly video here. I'm going to look at a lot of charts today, so let's get going to it. Well, last week was an interesting week to say the least. Every week seems to be interesting lately, but it wasn't quite what I expected. I expected a little more or less volatility until Thursday, Friday, and we had most of our volatility before Thursday, Friday. So anyway, it was kind of a wacko week there. You can see by looking at the VIX here, looking at this day here, pretty wacky. But let's see what's going on this week. We got a lot more news coming out this week. We got a lot more news. I think Monday through Thursday we got stuff happening, so it can really move this market a bit. However, the market has almost seems to me to be reacting in opposition of whatever the news says. Good news, market goes down. Bad news, the market goes up. So it's something weird is going on, and it could be capitulation. We could be forming a bottom here. So let's keep an eye out. Let's start with the old VIX. Basically, this area here seems to be holding pretty good support. This 2277 area here. 1, 2, 3. It closed on top of it here, and it stayed above it even on Friday. Stayed above it. I thought during the week the action was a little weird. I thought the UUP here and the VIX were forming what looked to me like a change of pattern here. And if they hold here, if they do not drop down here to this bottom of this megaphone pattern, then I think that would be confirmed. You can see we're in a bit of a wedge here. Appears that the 20 moving average crossing over 50, so the odds are we're probably going to break out to the upside here. Even though we closed beneath this support, it's very light support. It hasn't offered a lot of resistance or support, so we'll be looking for that. So if it breaks to the upside here, I think we're forming a new pattern to watch out for, and it could be just like a range bound here between this 2270 and 30 or something like that. So that's what I'll be watching for. And if you look on the VXN, which is the NASDAQ VIX, same type of thing. Pretty good pattern, pretty good foundation right here, support area. It is a little more bearish, closed down beneath this candle instead of inside of it like on the other VIX. So same type of thing going on here. You can see this one's inside, a little bit higher. All right, looking at the Dow. The Dow this week is, on my blog on Friday or Thursday, I was kind of talking about it. I thought this 50%, I would have loved to see get up here to this 50%. Then I'd feel much more confident about a pullback off of this. And we got really close. I mean close enough to call it good. But one thing you got to look at, I took those drawings off because every one of these tops, we've hung around the same area for a minimum of 5 days. All right, every single one of them, a minimum. The shortest term we hung around one area was 5 days. So right here we're on day 4. All right. So we're close enough to that fib for a reversal off of this candle here. If we do at least one more day in this area, maybe 2, and then we would see our drop. I don't think we're going to see a push through this 50 fib without a retracement down to this area here, this 9800, probably off of this 9850, and then make or break right here. If we break, we're going down. If we hold here, I think we're going to make a run for maybe taking out that fib right there. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. The NASDAQ. Still, I think it's the most bearish, but it hasn't been this last week. It's been kind of smoking me a little bit there. Had a couple rough trades with it, thinking it would go down a little bit faster than it did. I thought maybe we had something different going on. Just watch, like I said, UUP and stuff. We'll look at that in a minute. You can see this resistance here at 2165. It's kind of holding pretty strong. And this could be the same type of thing. We could just stay in this area for a couple more days before making our move to the downside. If we do, we still have sure enough, left shoulder, head, right shoulder play intact here. So keep an eye on that. Now everybody will be talking about it if we get down in here, so it probably won't come to fruition. But just keep an eye on it. We'll probably see support here, bounce around, then break if it does. So, but once everybody starts talking smack about it, it probably ain't going to occur, just like last time. On the SPX, we kind of broke out of that potential head and shoulders. I thought we'd stall out here. We had this one huge day that just blew it out of the water, which usually is what it takes to get over stuff like this. And we had it. We blew through. And now we've kind of retraced a little bit, but going sideways now. And I'd expect that to continue maybe a day or two, depending, like I said, a lot on the news. We never got up to this 50 fib from the October highs, and I would have loved to have seen us reach up here. I'd be much more confident shorting this market if we had moved up, continued to move up into this 50 here, because we could stall out right here and bounce. We could just start moving back up and test it again. So we're kind of in a wishy-washy area where I wish we had taken out that fib. And then I feel much more comfortable about shorting this. The RUT still looks pretty bearish. It's finding support here at the 576 area. You could have a double head shoulders type formation here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So if we break this out, I think we're going to see us eventually take out 550. We'll find support here and eventually take that out on the RUT. Okay, so those are ones to watch. Let's look at the UUP because I talked about it quite a bit last week. This looks like, if you look down here, all these pauses. This here is pretty clear, like bearish type flag formation up here. You've got a pretty decent. You got a pretty decent trend up. Looks like, oh yeah, here comes reversal, and then you fall off the cliff. Boom. Same type of thing here. You could draw the line, and we just didn't fall off as strong. Here, a little flatter. Here, it looks like more like a reversal. Here, pretty much the same type of thing. Down here, it looks way messier than anywhere else we've been, I think. We got like a megaphone type of formation going on here with a pretty strong support at 2236, which is coincidentally right about where we closed on Friday. The volume increase is just phenomenal here. Even on Friday, it beat out the up day on Thursday. And that was a down day, gap down day. So keep an eye on this 2230. If it breaks, I think this market is going to rally. But it looks like it's going to hold, so I'm keeping an eye on it real close. Going to watch it all next week, and I'll be posting about it on the blog. But this just looks real messy down here. It's not as clean as all these. These have been pretty apparent moves here. Here, look at this mess. I mean, it could be forming a real good bottom, consolidating, kind of making for a pattern, reversal pattern here, finding support this 2230. So we're going to keep an eye on it. The euro US dollar kind of rallied on Friday. I thought maybe it would head on down, but it didn't. Let's look at one sector real quick before we jump into some individual stocks. The XRT. Just look at this little bearish divergence here. Look at this volume. Dropping like a rock. Boom, 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 boom. And this continues to move up. It actually retested this uptrend line right here on Friday. I think we're going to see this thing drop, the XRT, down here and probably come down and retest this 32.79 line. So we'll be keeping an eye on the XRT, which is the retail sector. Okay, and that's retail sector. I had one other one on there, XBI. Same type of thing, just it kind of broke out of the, it's not really a bearish divergence so much. We had a big up day here on this gap, but if you take that gap out, you could see that the volume has been decreasing slowly, and it's increased huge off this big up move down into here. But it did, what I'm curious about is it broke this trend line right here, which is a steep trend line. But you do have the 200 moving average, so it'll probably find a little bit of support there before dropping off of it. 5132 has seemed to offer resistance. So let's look at a few individual stocks now while we got time. ONXX is one I really like the pattern on this here. Rallied off this drop, had earnings come out, kind of sold off a bit on earnings, jumped up, gapped up, and then it's beaten its head twice now on this 200 moving average. The volume decreased on Friday. It increased into this up move, but it decreased on Friday. I think without a big volume increase, this 200 is probably going to hold, and we're probably going to at least fill this gap down here. Probably get at least a $1 or $2 drop off this 200 before taking another try at it. So that's ONXX. Okay, here's ATI. This is the opposite. It's found support here on this pennant. We're in this pennant for long-term pennant formation. I like these long ones like this. So it's really consolidating. It's really coming together. Looks like we got pretty nice support with a spinning top doji sitting on it. The 200 moving average is beneath the 50, so keep an eye on that. But I think it's going to start crossing over. The volume's decreasing into this down move, so I'd be looking for support here. If it breaks, go ahead and play it to the downside. I play it down to the 20 moving average. If it holds, it's going to be weeks or possibly months before it gets back up here. But that's just one to keep an eye on. JNPR is another one. Juniper Networks. There's another one. Same type of formation. Not as wide, not as long, not as broad. But look at this doji on the bottom here. Support. And then it, bam, just jumped right off. If you had seen this, I did not play it, but if I had seen this on Thursday, it would have been a really good support play here with an easy stop down here. So this should probably continue up. You'll probably come down a day or two, and then you can find a good entry point to play it up to that support up here. Here's one, TAN. Another sector type play. I like this because it's on the 200 moving average. You can see my support line down here, but we've got the 200 moving average here. Real bullish engulfing type candle on the 200 moving average, taking out this support. I'd be looking for this to rally. So next week we got a lot of news coming out. I think it's going to move the market a little bit, but I do really think we are starting to see signs of bottom. Things are changing a little bit, so I'm going to be watching much closer. Come check out the blog at akoptiontrader.com. Trade well and prosper.